Welcome to the Ask Dr. Deanna show. I'm Dr. Deanna Holgren, your host. Join me weekly as I cover various health-related lifestyle medicine topics that you get to request. This show is for anyone who wants to proactively improve their health position. I hope you enjoy the show. Well, hello, everybody, and thanks so much for plugging in today on the Ask Dr. Deanna podcast. I'm excited to be with you today, and I'm excited to share some great information with you. Some information that I hope will make a difference in your life. It's certainly made a difference in my life as well as in my patients' lives. And today our topic is going to be cellular health. We're going to talk about cellular detox as well and how to get our cells healthy and keep them healthy. You may not know this. I find it fascinating that every cell in your body actually can hear your thoughts. I want you to think about that for a minute. Every cell in your body can hear your thoughts. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that basically, there are neurotransmitters, certain chemicals, our cells talk to each other. And so if I'm having a thought, if I'm having a feeling, literally that information can pass through all of the cells. So if we are thinking negative things, our cells are less likely to be healthy. If we're thinking positive thoughts, positive energy, that sort of thing, then we are going to be healthier just because of that. But there are a lot more things that go into healthy cells. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First of all, why would a cell be unhealthy or need to detox? I thought it would be good to start there. And for a lot of people, it's basically, the fact that cells will end up getting sick a lot of times because of the chemicals that we're exposed to. That makes sense, right? Whether it is, an inadvertent, medication or something that you have on board, or chemicals through the standard American diet, chemicals in our environment, etc. But we basically can have toxins in our system that can have a negative impact on our cells. And, even sometimes, let's say that somebody has a virus and, they're having, bad symptoms from that. Maybe they've got a fever. Maybe they, even have diarrhea, something like that. And they can drop low in certain, electrolytes. And that will have an impact on cells and make cells unhealthy in that moment. Okay. Or during that time period. So it's really important to look at diet. Diet is, you guys hear me say this over and over. I think probably every week, diet, nutrition, because it's critical. It is the missing piece, and we have ignored it for so long as a society. And the good news is, even if you've ignored it your entire life, okay, you can make a difference today, starting today, just by, using some of these techniques and doing some of these things to make a difference in your overall health. So what happens when cells are sick? Cells, basically, when they're sick, they have dysfunction. Dysfunction can oftentimes lead to a disease state, and cells can become inflamed. They can become quite toxic, and they can even become hyperexcitable in certain types of cells, for example, cardiac cells. And so we want to do everything we can to protect our cells and have them functioning really at the highest level. There are different types of cells in the body, from fat cells to cardiac cells to muscle cells, neurological types of cells, and they all act in a different way. But they all have some things in common as well. And so the things we're going to talk about today really would be good for every cell in your body. I once heard it said by a functional medicine cardiologist that what's good for the blood vessel is good for the entire rest of the body. And it's kind of the same with what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. So what's the solution? How do we have healthy cells, which then allow us to function, at higher levels? Well, first of all, it's diet. Okay. We have to start there. That so many times becomes the core, right? And for diet, it has to be clean and green. Okay. So that's kind of my new catchphrase, if you will, clean and green. And what do I mean by that? Clean, meaning that your food does not have a lot of chemicals. It's not processed. It's not packaged. It doesn't come out of a box, a bag, or a drive-through window. Maybe you grew it in your own garden without all the chemicals. Maybe you're buying organic, at the grocery store, GMO free. So clean. Okay. So whole food, nutrient dense, clean. green, and then green. Green is critical. So why green? Well, green is really, really important for us from a detox standpoint because, number one, it does help to alkalinize the body. And, you're going to be able to run detoxification more with an alkaline system. But two, a lot of those green vegetables and so forth will actually act as detoxification. Broccoli is my favorite detoxifying vegetable because it is a methyl donor. So that's biochemistry for you. And if you look at, well, why would I need a methyl donor? It's because it basically will help to facilitate the detoxification process, which is called methylation. By giving a methyl donor. So lots and lots of broccoli, lots of broccoli, spinach, kale, just all of the green stuff. The more green, the better is going to be fantastic with you. Hey, listen, if you feel like, no, I can't just eat green all the time, then you might consider trying a powdered green supplement. Okay. There are lots that are available out there, that basically are powdered greens, all of your fruits and vegetables in a powder form. So it's going to be lower calorie. And, a lot of people will just add that into a shake. And the thing that I like about that too, is that oftentimes it's great if you can find one, that also has some chlorella in it. Chlorella is also a detoxifier. Okay. It's a type of algae, broken cell wall chlorella. And, it's a type of algae that basically helps to detoxify. So take a look, look for that, which will really help in the overall process. The other thing that you can do, okay, so besides the diet, cleaning your diet, first of all, getting rid of all the things that are, causing damage to the cells, and then adding in all of the foods that are supporting your cells and making a difference. I like to talk about correcting nutritional deficiencies as well. So some of us end up being low in certain nutrients, and maybe it's because we're not getting those nutrients in our diet. Maybe it's because we have an absorption problem and we're not absorbing them in the GI system for whatever reason. Maybe we have a genetic propensity toward that lower, nutrition or nutrient level as well. An example of that might be B12. Some people genetically are going to have lower levels of B12. Some people genetically are going to have lower levels of vitamin D. So sometimes it's from that standpoint. One of the things that we have done in our practice, and a lot of other functional medicine practices will do this as well, is a nutrition assessment, a micronutrient test, if you will, that basically it's a blood test that will look at inside of a white blood cell and tell you what you are deficient in, what are you missing. And it looks at all the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, and really gives you a lot of information about how to be healthy at the cellular level so that those cells can function at optimal levels. When cells are functioning at optimal levels, we feel great. We have good energy. We don't have brain fog. Everything functions at such a better level. And that's what it's all about, right? We want everybody to function at their highest level possible. And then the next thing I want to hit on when it comes to detox is really looking at the liver. How do we support the liver? The liver is one of our detoxifying organs along with the kidney. Okay. So when you look at how do I get toxins out of my body, our bodies were made to clear some of this stuff out. The problem is in today's world, many people are way overburdened and the body just can't keep up. But we have the liver that detoxifies. We have the kidneys that will detoxify. We also have the colon. And then believe it or not, the skin. Your skin is actually a detoxifying organ as well. So when we focus on the liver and the kidneys, with the liver, okay, there's a lot of times we'll talk about phase 1 liver detox and phase 2 liver detox. Okay. Some of the stuff that I just mentioned, that's phase 1 liver detox. Phase 2 brings in some other things. And one of them is something called milk thistle. Milk thistle, also called cellular, is fantastic as a liver and kidney cleanse. And the milk thistle or cellular is actually, something that is used by rangers out west. There's a certain mushroom that oftentimes people eat. They have a a severe reaction. It's a poisonous mushroom, and it causes liver necrosis or death of liver cells. And so that's actually what they have on hand and give them as an antidote. So it is liver protective. So milk thistle, that's great. And you can get that in capsule form. You can get it in tea form as well. But it is really a wonderful product to help with detoxification. But other supplements that I like to use to help with that phase 2. One is something called NAC or N-acetylcysteine. That is a product that helps to boost glutathione levels. Glutathione is a super potent antioxidant that really helps from a health standpoint and just really helps the liver overall. And then lipoic acid is another one that is very, very important when you are looking at that phase 2 liver detoxification, as well as taurine. Taurine is another, supplement that I think is fantastic for phase 2 liver detox. So when we're looking at this, okay, the whole thing and just, looking at doing sort of a detox, a lot of the things that I've mentioned are really easy for people to do. They're very accessible and easy to follow. There are some cleanses that are maybe more intense and that are a level above this. Sometimes people are looking at, for example, removing heavy metals, that sort of thing. And that's something that really needs to be under the supervision of a physician. So always check with your doctor. But for the most part, the things that I've mentioned today are safe for most people to engage in. Healthy cells. When you have healthy cells, okay, and you're focusing on the detoxification, a lot of times people think that detox is a 7-day thing or I do it for a month and then I'm all clean, right? And I'm good to go. Well, it's not really like that. It's a work in process. Or a work in progress, sort of like our health. Okay, it becomes a lifestyle, and certainly there are going to be times, maybe over the holidays, that maybe you had something to eat or to drink that didn't really serve your body well. Okay, but we can come back from that and follow these things on a regular basis. So I like to pretty much follow the 80-20 rule, and 80% of the time I am clean eating. Okay, it's clean, and I'm very mindful of my carbs. I'm very mindful of, not eating any sugar, not eating any grain, of getting a lot of green vegetables in my diet, and really paying attention to these things. But there are other times in life, okay, that maybe it's a celebration or whatever. I'm maybe not going to follow that as well as I should. But the good news is immediately get back on and, the back on that plan. The thing that I always say is if you've been bad, okay, if you've been bad in terms of diet, and your nutrition, what you've been eating, start with a fast. Okay. Start with 12 hours. Okay. Get the 12 hours down. If you ate at 7:00 tonight, do not eat again until 7 a.m. the next day. That's 12 hours, no calories. If you've got that down already as a healthy habit, fantastic. You'd be amazed to know how many people don't have that one down, but start there. And if you have that down, then push it to 16. We talk a lot about intermittent fasting. You might even want to go back and check out one of the podcasts on intermittent fasting, because it goes into more detail on what that is about. But that is a way to also help support this healthy detox. You get to 16 hours. And after that, a little after 16 hours, you actually have something called autophagy, which is a cellular cleaning that goes in, that takes place, that happens after 16 hours. So again, with the supervision of a physician, but these are some techniques that we've used just to help get healthy, to help people have healthy cells. And when you have healthy cells, it just seems like everything functions so much better in our bodies. So thanks so much for joining me. You're going to want to plug in next week, because next week I am going to be talking in detail about diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, obesity, something called metabolic syndrome. And if you have some of those, or any of those, you definitely want to plug in and listen, because right now, it is so important for us to be mindful of our health and to be managing these things. So you definitely will want to plug in and listen to next week's talk on metabolic syndrome. So thanks so much, everybody. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For more information, visit me at deannaholdren.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Deanna Holdren. I really want to hear from you, so message me. I love taking your messages and creating topics from them. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share my show with those who have an interest in health and wellness. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.